Hello everyone, SB Architects here. Today we are going to compare Twinmotion Scatter with D5 Render Scatter. The scatter render of both products has been recently released. I think both sites may have been inspired by each other, but I will examine which one is better for you in this tutorial. But before starting in, I want to introduce you something for about user library. As you can see here, I have some user library and they weren't existed with this version because I have recently updated my version to 2024. And you know, if you update your Twinmotion version, your recently saved your user libraries are not visible. So if you want to see your user library in the new version of Twinmotion, you will follow this method. You will go to Documents. As you can see here, we can see the old version of Twinmotion. You will open that and you will just copy this user library. And you will go back and you will paste here, and then you will just reopen your Twinmotion and now you can see your user libraries. Anyway, let's continue. We are going to compare both Twinmotion and D5 Render scattering engines. For the demonstration purpose, I'm going to open a scene for this tutorial. First, I want to delete this starting base and ground, and let's go to import and hit plus. Click open. After locating the SketchUp file, I'm just going to check this full polarization and UV normal and hit import. And here we have opened our SketchUp file into Twinmotion. Now we can turn off this import and we are going to apply a scatter for this terrain. To do it, by the way, I want to get rid of this ugly grass color. I will go to Materials, Ground, Nature, and I'm just going to apply this grass 5. Yeah, way more better. What do you say? Anyway, for the scatter, we will go to Populate and we will click this place. You know, this one is old. Maybe let's apply this tree. It works like this. If you click this and increase your density, it will work like this method. Our second method is, let's click Populate and click Scatter. For the scatter, you will just again apply this to here. Where was it? Okay. And then you will click the tree inside of this box. You will click this scatter tool and click your terrain. But the interesting thing is you have to click once more. And once again if you want to make denser. And once you place this, if you click this from here, if you change this edge, it changes. Under the details, we have some detail, but I cannot change anything except this edge. For instance, I want to create some variations between trees. Some of them will be larger, some of them will be smaller. I want to rotate randomly. It's not possible here. Maybe they're rotated as a default setting, but I cannot manipulate that. So this is a problem. Well, now I want to add something more. Maybe this one, you see, it's not updated. So to scatter this, I'm just going to click this new tree and click the scatter tool and paste. It works. It works, but this is not the method I prefer. Let's say that I want to delete this tree just over there. I will click this eraser and I'm going to erase. But I can only erase this green tree, not the Norway spruce, because I have to click that. If I want to delete all, I'm just going to select both and then I will delete with this eraser. For this eraser, for this scatter, we can use the grass for the scatter, but it's not so useful. Let's go to vegetation and click grass, and for instance long grass. As we did before, we have to click lots of times. It's not useful. 1, 2, 3, 4, whatever, 10th. I just click 10th, but there are still empty places. Useless. For the grass, of course. Okay, it's time to open the new spacing. This is our new spacing tool. You remember I have a tutorial for this, but I will introduce you shortly. We are just going to drag a tree into this. It's not have to be only tree. You can manipulate this with different objects such as cars for car parking, road markings, etc. I want this to be look to the sky with horizontal angle. So I'm going to click this tree inside of the box, and then I will click this align, and we don't have any more options to make it to look directly to the sky. From here you can change the scale offset, random scale, rotation, and other variations. You can make this by distance. For each 100 centimeter there will be a tree, etc, etc. This is a kind of arraying tool, not a scatter tool. And you see the trees are wrong. Anyway, now I'm going to delete this one from here, and this time I will choose the area. With the area, it works like main scatter tool, just we did before for these trees. But this one, as you can see, for the trees are completely perfect. You will see they're looking the perpendicular to the sky. It works very well. If we change the path tension, you can see the visibility of this line are changed. We can make it denser or lighter, random spacing, probability, because I can add different tree inside of that, like this. I want to see this one less, so I click this tree, and after that I will reduce the probability of that tree from here. I will click this Japanese and increase that. And as you can see, if I make this maximum and if I go back to the Japanese, it's again at the maximum. So I click this asset properties. From the detail, I can change their detail. It was not possible here. This is old version, this is new version. Of course, we have the align option. I'm going to select both and click this align to get the same effect. But that's not correct. The correct one is this. But the minus is actually the negative side of using this. You have to be careful clicking for your plot. I mean, for instance, if I want to get same effect with this scatter, I have to select like this, and I have to turn around the building and close the shape. After that, I will create again for this part. Now I have two different scatter objects. Let's delete this one, and I select both of them at the same time, and I'm just going to apply here. As you can see, both of them are working at the same time. After that, I'm going to increase the spacing and random spacing. After that, I will select this and this tree, and from the asset properties, under the settings per object, if you make random scale, it will be way more better, way more realistic. This was the Twinmotion side for the scattering. Now let's switch to the D5 renderer. By the way, if you want to reach more advanced Twinmotion tutorial, I'm going to create a link into the description, so you can create this scene with me and you can learn all of the details about the Twinmotion. Since YouTube is not enough for this kind of tutorial set, this platform which I present for you is more suitable because you can reach all of the lessons and you can click them one by one and you won't be lost in your learning process. The link is in the description. Alright, here we are in the D5 renderer, and this is the version of D5 2.7. And as you can see, this is a completely new scene and there are lots of new features such as this scatter, and the mobility of the screen panning is way more useful and faster. Anyway, let's import our same model into this file. We are going to click this import, and now it was imported to here. We will click here and once again click the scene. That's all. Other settings are the same. Anyway, now as you can see here, we have a very ugly terrain. As we did in the Twinmotion renderer, we changed the texture. I'm going to make the same for this too, but here we have another option in the D5. If you pick up this texture with I and from here you will see some options such as UV randomizer, and it was already way more better. And if you click this tree planner, and we can manipulate the scale way more better. And then from here, somewhere here, yes, this one, AI generated texture map. Let's click that. It's generating for this grass. It's going to create some normal specular roughness and metallic. Now this is our grass material. I'm not going to change anything more for the grass. Now let's test out our scatter. We have two different options. First one is click this add scatter from here, or we can click assets. Let's go to assets and you will click the scatter. If you use the scatter from here, all of the trees, grass will be automatically updated. But if you want to do something manually, well, of course you have lots of time for do that because it's not easy. Twinmotion scatter is way more easier. I suggest using Twinmotion, but if you are going to use the predetermined, such as this long green belt, D5 renderer thoughts is about which way are you following. If you are a free D5 renderer user, you can use the non-pro version, such as this one and this one, only long. If you are a pro version user, you can select one of these. You can even use the predetermined tree settings. But for the free, there is no predetermined any tree settings here. Anyway, now I'm going to show you from scratch. We will click this, add scatter, and we have two options. First one is select material. By doing this, all of the greens will be base for the scattering. And if you select model, as you can see, for this kind of model, this is a whole model, and this area will be completely a scattering area. Now, for the demonstration purpose, I'm going to select this material and click here and then click create. As you can see, we have some grids, and for these grids, a tree will be grow inside and be visible in your renders. Now we are going to add trees to inside. From here, we will click this nature, and we are going to select any of these. Unfortunately, as we can in the Twinmotion, we could use any kind of models from such as vehicle, such as character, such as decals. In D5 renderer, it's not possible. This is a very big negative feature. You can only use the nature, not any kind of object. So we will have to create an object. For instance, I'm going to use this low poly tree. Let's click here, and as you can see, it was already applied to here. Of course, we have more options. You can click here, your tree. You can reduce its scale, but it's not real time. First, you change your scale bar. If you unclick, you can see the effect. We can change the collision volume. By reducing this, the trees will be denser, and you will increase the rate. This works if you place here any different tree types. Since it was only one tree, this rate is not working. Under the distribution, you can see density is now 2. Let's make this 10, and it's denser. Maybe 5. But it's so tight. To make it more realistic, we have to break this tiling. To do it, we will use a dispersion preset. We are going to click this fulfill white and we will select a kind of tile from here. We have more options. If you hit fit, this texture will scale up from here to here and then it will be copied beside it. If you click the stretch, all of the tile texture will be stretched. As you can see, it's kind of stretched to your model. If you use UV, it's going to be applied according to your model UV, and for the tile, it's going to be applied for the world tile settings to 1 meter to 1 meter. You can change it from here. Let's select another, maybe this curve. Let's increase the density, maybe 20. And for the tile, I'm going to make it fit. As you can see, we can already see the tiling effect. Let's make this 50. And as you can see, we can see a wavy effect. I think the more appreciated way using the fit. And this was stretched. Not too bad. We can use it. But the negative side of using this, you cannot delete this tree. If you want to delete this tree, you have to double click it. And after that, if you hit delete, it deletes all of things. But I'm going to double click it and you will see this detect object and click OK. Now we can hit delete. Double click, done, delete. I think it's a little long process. But better than nothing. Let's say that I'm going to delete this tree. I'm going to double click, click done, and click delete. Alright, this scatter is not simple as this. There is another way. If you click your trees scatter area, by the way, this bloom is too annoying. To get rid of that, you will click this. Now it's way more better. You can add more trees from here. Let's say that we are going to hit this plus and for instance, let's try this palm tree. I'm going to download it first. When you download, we are going to click once again. And as you can see, our second tree pass appeared here. It's applying right now. As you can see, our trees and palm trees. Let's say that we are going to use a palm tree for one order, for one line, or second time we will use another type of tree. To do it, we will delete it from here. And after that, we will divide this area from here. And this is our first area. Let's click this nature. And this is going to be this low poly, as we did before. And for the distribution, not for distribution. From here, if we click this area, from main area, and as you can see, these patterns are different. Now I'm going to click this one. And this is the first line, second line, and third line. This 0 first line is about the low poly tree. Now I'm going to add another tree for the second. And for the third, I'm going to add another. I don't know, maybe a kind of bush, such as this one. Let's download it first and apply. Let's click it from here. Where is that? It must be somewhere here. Oh, there you go. It's very small. I think we must assign a tree instead of that one. Because as you can see, there is a cool distance. Maybe we can manipulate that cool distance from the settings. In the preferences, under the general or rendering, yeah, there we go. I'm going to make this 200. Now I can see more bushes. And I will change the scale to see it better. I want this to be larger and maybe 30 and some other settings. Oops, too much. Maybe 5. Now this is going to be turning out more interesting way. But as we did before, you have to double click here and click done and delete one by one. It's a very annoying process. Now, for the demonstration purpose, I'm going to delete this, and from here I'm going to show you a preset. Maybe let's try this. Let's click this lawn and let's click this surface and hit create. We are going to wait a little because this is a long process. I'm going to pause the video. Alright, after a long time, we are finally here. Unfortunately, the production took too long. Now, I'm going to unclick here, and as you can see, our predetermined settings for the grass is this. Now for the camera settings, I'm going to turn off this auto to see it better, and I'm going to adjust this, and you can see the different layers. You can see a grass layer, some kind of bushes, some kind of weeds, etc, etc. Not too bad. We can use this. It's fast and effective. If your computer is fast enough, why don't you use this? But in my opinion, this is cumbersome. Twinmotion scatter is way more faster. Now, furthermore, I'm going to apply some trees, maybe a forest like this. Let's apply, hit create, applying right now, and the necessary downloads are downloading. If we hit this update, it will start to downloading. After downloading progress, we will hit the done, and there we have our trees and grass. For this reason, you have to organize your tree area in your file, in your SketchUp or ArchiCAD file. Maybe you can leave a space and create another mesh for your trees. And with this way, it's going to be way more faster. That won't be necessary by clicking each tree like this. Deleting is a very cumbersome way. Alright, that's all it for this tutorial. What are your thoughts about the scatterings, about Twinmotion, about D5? Which scatter are you prefer? Which scatter did you find very useful or not? You can leave your comments in the comment section below. And if you are serious about learning ArchiCAD, you can go to my Patreon page. From there, I will be waiting for you. Alright, thank you for watching. Until next time, have a nice day. Bye. Very nice view, huh? Yeah, I like this. Maybe changing this HDRI and maybe adding some where is that? Bloom lens flare. Anyway, see you at the next part.